Hey everybody, it's Luke here with Lifestyle Off-Road, and today we are going to talk about the Bimini or sunshade tops that you can put on your 2021 Ford Bronco. So currently we have the best top. Some people refer to it as the Ford top. This is the top that you can get from Ford. So when I bought my Bronco, this was one of the accessories I picked. And I got this and had it installed, I don't know, a couple days later. As you can, maybe not yet, but you will see by the car seats, I have two small kids. So having shade over top is important to me. I don't want to be sitting at a red light and my kids get sunburnt. So I know it's winter, but at the end of the video, I'll show you why having something like this in the winter is beneficial. So I am going to go through some highlights and lowlights of this shade, and then I also am going to be taking this off and installing the Gear Shade. Let's get into it. Okay, so now I'm inside the truck. You can see the shade. This one has a lot of metal beams or bars. So up here, this is like a little metal bar. This is actually a metal bar that is bolted to the body, and then it's velcroed, the mesh is velcroed to it. And then there is a bunch of zippers in it. So right now this net is fully installed, and this is as tight as I can get it. So as you can see, it is sloppy. That is one reason why I'm taking this off and installing the Gear Shade. These zippers add a fair amount of weight to this mesh, and I have not found a benefit to having them. It's a double zipper. There's 3 different ones. I have been told it's for reaching the panels in the hard top. I can't verify that because I have the soft top, but the way this fastens is there is 2 clips that go into these little hooks here. And then there is a button and a strap that goes through this. And then you have this metal hook out here that goes and pulls this in. Walking around the outside, so this is that metal bar I had to install for it. You have these straps that wrap around and get bolted in with the bottom speaker bolt. And then up top, we have these straps that reach down and they clamp into this bar. And I know the Gear Shade does the same thing. The problem I have is these two center straps have broken. I have the factory one here and here. This is actually just some strap that I had laying around, and I cut down, and I actually looped this all the way around my roll bar. I have been trying to get a hold of Best Top, and that's who makes this, and then talked to my Ford dealer about warranty, and that has been going on since August, and they still can't get me 2 little tiny straps for this. So I'm giving up. This one is going to go. We're going to get the Gear Shade installed. Overall, it works. It does its job. It provides shade. I just don't feel like the fit and finish of it is all that great compared to what it could be. The other problem I have with it is you can see how wrinkly it is up at the top. No matter how tight or how many times I have adjusted it, when you are going down the highway or the interstate, that picks up in the front and it creates like an air scoop, and it kind of creates, well, it starts the flapping of the wind. So I just haven't been super impressed with this. I believe these are retailed for like $2.99. The Gear Shade that I'm going to put on is $1.89, and I'm hoping for a lot more out of it than this one. So I'm going to get this one taken off, and then we're going to go through putting the Gear Shade on. Okay, so just real quick, when you buy a Gear Shade, here's what you get. You get a whole bunch of these ball bungees. You get a kit with hardware, and then you get your Gear Shade. comes in a relatively small package. So the best top box was, I don't know, 40 inches long or so. It was a pretty big box. This is much smaller, and this gives you more of that open roof appeal that the Bronco designers were hoping for. So there's no metal bars going across. It's still going to provide you shade, so you have safety from the sun. I'm excited about getting this thrown on. So I have not installed this yet, so hopefully this goes pretty smooth. I do know these straps go to the back. These are very similar to what is on the Ford version or the best top. This hook is a little bit different though. It does look substantially beefier. So these do go to the back. So I'm going to start there. Okay. Now just to bring you around, they just hook between the metal and the plastic piece. So we at least have a starting point now. First things we have to do, it looks like, after kind of laying it out, is removing this bolt on each side. It is a T50 Torx. Then we're going to get into our hardware kit, and we're just going to grab, I think they call these bungee anchors. So, put that in there. Okay. Put the bungee anchor on the bolt and tighten it down. Now this does look like it is a 3D printed plastic, so make sure you don't over tighten these. You gotta do the one on the driver's side. Okay. So I did have to cheat and look in the instructions, because there's 3 different types of fasteners. There's the washer type, which we just installed. There are these that have like a crush rubber grommet that expands. Those go here and here. So the closest to the windshield hole, perfectly round hole, and then the closest to the driver's seat back hole. These you just T30. These you just tighten up, and you're gonna crush. You're gonna compress that rubber grommet inside to hold these in place. Okay. Now we'll do this on the passenger side. Same thing. Throw this back. It doesn't take much for these to get snug into the hole either. Okay, we just have some T30 bolts, Torx bolts, and then more of the washers. In the middle threaded hole that is right, I guess it's towards the back side of the B pillar, I'm going to install these. And then at the very furthest back threaded hole, we will be installing one there. Okay, now onto the passenger side, do the same thing. Again, the middle hole and the furthest back. Okay, that should be all the hardware we need to install. I'm going to check the instructions real quick, and then we'll get on to putting the mesh top part up. Okay, so we have a few different kinds of bungees. You have some that have this little plastic clip, and those go up front. So I'm going to set one of those on each side. Okay, thought I was missing one. It's attached to the gear shade. You have another type of bungee that's attached to the front middle, and it has two of these hooks on it. And that will go right up by the rear view mirror. And the rest of them are just a typical little bungee loop. They've got a ball and then the bungee loop. So, let me get the camera turned around. These are actually just going to clip in like this. So, that's pretty simple. That should help get us started. So for the most part on these, you're going to just take your bungee, put the loop through, and wrap it around your anchor point. So pretty simple. Got them all twisted together in my pocket. In the corner up here, you need to get the one with the little hook through, and then you also need to get an additional one, so you've got two of them. You hook the first one around there, and the one with the hook, you're going to pull over to the side and hook into this hole. There. I will go to the back and get those. Okay, so it does look like there is some longer bungees. Those are apparently supposed to go at the back. Instructions aren't actually very clear on how I use that. So, just continue putting these on. These bits in here. Then at the front again, we have a normal bungee. You gotta put the hook through. And then an additional normal bungee with it. So we'll do the hook first. Or sorry, we'll do the loop first. Well, maybe. And then bring that hook down over on the side. So there's actually a pretty good amount of tension on this already. We just got to get the back figured out. I am going to go ahead and tension these up a little bit. Try and get this thing to lay down a little nicer. Just have a small bungee. Loop that one around. Get this one on the other side. Okay. You probably can tighten. It seems as though you're going to be able to really tighten these because you're just attaching everything with bungee cords. So do be careful of that. You don't want to over tighten them and start wearing everything out from the right off the bat. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a little more difficult than I feel it should be to tighten up this strap. There we go. That feels good. Okay. let me figure out what we need to do with these. Okay, so this long strap, what you actually need to do is feed this one down. All the other ones, we fed them up. Feed this one down, and you're gonna pull this around and under the bungee cord. Sorry, my dog wants attention. You loop it around like that. So, that is it. Much simpler to install. I like this. I think it looks great. I think it's going to work really good. Obviously, this is going to flap also. What I'm hoping is, without all the zippers and everything, that the extra noise is much less. Take a look at it from the inside. Yeah, you're going to still get that open air feel. You're not going to have those bars going overhead and all the seams and zippers. This also does have 2 pockets, so you could throw a couple things up there. There's one for driver and passenger. And it also has a gap up here, which will be okay because I don't have to do anything to put the soft top back up. I will show you that in just a minute. Okay, so now that we have our gear shade on top and installed, I am going to show you what I have done to make this just a little bit more quiet, and probably insulate a little bit for winter time. I went to Harbor Freight. You can go Amazon, just about anywhere, and pick up a blanket. This is just like a moving blanket, and all that I do is roll this out. Now I had this on top of the other shade, the other shade that I had, and it worked fine up there, and I'm sure that it'll work fine on this one as well. Try and get it laid out here. Now, once it gets warmer out, it's only 40 degrees and really windy, I will do a test driving around with the gear shade and the top down. But today, that is not going to happen. So let me get this blanket laid out. So you're not gonna find a blanket the perfect size, obviously. What I did is I just took some Gorilla Tape, flipped it over so it basically lines up with the back of the roll bar, and then I just fold the sides over. Now it doesn't need to be anything super pretty, and this thing does not weigh very much either, so it's not going to put a lot of pressure on that gear shade. So I laid out my blanket. That's all I did. I'm not fastening it to anything because once the top goes down, it is not going to move. So there you go. This has done a pretty good job of knocking down just a little bit of that soft top noise. Looks like I gotta fold it back just a little bit. Get the handles through here. I haven't found the soft top to by any means be intolerable as far as noise. But when you have little kids riding in the back, if you can kind of quiet it down so you can hear them and what they need on road trips, well, why wouldn't you do something? Especially when it's as simple as this. Okay, so gear shade installed, blanket on top. There you go.